In Gaza, what did you see in terms of malnutrition and hunger-related illness?
Hello. Recently I went to Ireland. Beautiful place, amazing people, lush and green and ancient and poetic and extremely confusing. Things I was confused by. Northern Ireland, still just there. Part of the UK, border, very hard in theory, very squishy in practice. Up there just destroying the...
Well, that there's real starvation. So is there any, now that the talks have collapsed and so that there's no immediate ceasefire that might relieve the pressure, is there any alternative that the State Department would begin looking at? And then I have just one other follow-up.
Well, a couple points. First, it is progress to see 90 million meals. That is, yes, and that is progress, and I think it is worth applauding, especially given...
All right, so Zelensky decided to...
Donald Trump genocide done. I mean, he's continuing the genocide for sure. With regard to Ukraine, he has failed to shut that war down. With regard to Iran, the Biden administration at least had the good sense not to let the Israelis...
The churches, the schools, the mosques.
Prepusti se zadovoljstvu I okusi bogatstvo profinjenog užitka. Ducatos Selection.
Doctors hate me. I'm 62, ripped, and I teach menopausal women to melt fat in...
Are not allowed into Gaza. The only opportunities that the international press get to enter the Gaza Strip is in very tightly controlled and choreographed instances where they are supervised by the Israel Defense Forces. These are called... I
want to speak to our foreign editor. Philip Turtle, hello to you. Philip, take us through a little bit of the reactions to this.
Right, well, reactions have been pretty quick in materializing, particularly from Israel and from the United States. Benjamin Netanyahu, first of all, the Israeli Prime Minister, said...
Mr. Green, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to address the House for 5 minutes, revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Well, I'm joined now by Dr. Nick Maynard, a British surgeon who's been working in Nasser Hospital. I mean, Doctor, these images are just unbearable. They really are. And you were there for 4 weeks. You recognise some of these children.
Yeah, I'm. It's difficult to respond because some of those children I was with last. She's being tube fed via a tube I put into her intestines. We are desperately trying to find more feed to keep her alive because she won't get better. And if she doesn't get better, she'll die. She won't get better without this special type of feed that she needs. The malnutrition in the newborn.
What's happening right now in Gaza?
The question is what's...
We were lucky, I was lucky to be in a quite left-leaning thinking team of teachers. Maybe otherwise at that point I was already quite aware of some problematic situation of us as Israelis here, of Zionism. I was not declaring
for a ceasefire that can see hostages released who've now been kept for so long away from their families and loved ones, and a ceasefire that would...
Gaza's hospitals have been decimated. Most no longer function following airstrikes, repeated siege and occupation by Israeli forces. But in those that continue to operate, a new kind of ward has appeared. This is a new ward at the Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, where infants and small children undergo treatment for acute starvation. Now, the very young and the very old are usually among the first to succumb to the kind of famine conditions that Israel is imposing on the enclave. And small children, unable to express their intense hunger verbally, quickly stop eating altogether.
This is how my husband started managing ADHD and made us happier. He was always jumping between hyper and exhausted. Couldn't finish what he started. Everyday tasks felt overwhelming. He'd get moody for no reason.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today,
We're going to talk about Trump canceling a $4.9 billion federal loan guarantee for a high-voltage transmission line that would deliver electricity to the Midwestern United States.
That are at least publicly condemning Emmanuel Macron's move. It's more praise that Emmanuel Macron has gotten from around the world, obviously from the Palestinians.
Protests are also happening in the Netherlands. Step Vassen reports from a sit-in at Amsterdam's Central Station.
This is how the anger. That's on the Madeleine. Greta Thunberg is a comrade of mine. Yasmin is a comrade of mine. Diago is a comrade of mine.
Palestinian Liberation Organization and opposed Israel's occupation policies. That legacy persists amongst Greek unions, amongst leftist parties of today, grassroots activists who view the Palestinian struggle as a continuation of global anti-colonial resistance. And the protests have been widespread and diverse. On the 1st of May last year,
Want to return to our breaking story this hour that sources at the IDF tell us that they will allow foreign nations to airdrop aid into Gaza. Let's bring in our correspondent Lisa Holland, who's in Jerusalem for us. Lisa, what more are we hearing?
So I want to give you an update on the situation in Gaza and also with Palestine. These are the headlines coming from France, actually. Emmanuel Macron says France will recognize Palestinian state in September, and it appears that more Western countries are moving in this direction, and I'm hoping that we can find peace soon. Unfortunately, the U.S. is against this. U.S. slams Macron's plan for France to recognize Palestine.
I am only vaguely familiar with the Nelk Boys. Like, I had never heard of them
until yesterday.
I know that Adam Friedland interviewed them. Is that released? Was that released? It was some time ago. I think he had mentioned.
Is that out? I'm not sure. I heard about that too.
They also had Trump on a bunch during the campaign.
See, I didn't know that, right? And I truly didn't know about them until yesterday.
Launch of the Xbox One, Team Xbox has been trying to rebuild their culture and their brand. They've spent billions of dollars acquiring beloved gaming franchises with some of the
2 years after Finland and Sweden joined NATO, their impact on the alliance is undeniable. What began as a strategic reaction to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has evolved into one of the most significant transformations of NATO's northern posture in decades. These two Nordic nations haven't just added more flags to the table.
Liječenje gljivica je poput maratona. Potrebni su ustrajnost i disciplina kako bi se došlo do cilja. Eksoterbin i Eksoteril. Ostavite gljivice iza sebe.
No more money to kill babies. I want this Congress to know that I voted against sending any additional monies to Israel for munitions. I voted against it. And it's this.
And it is so clear to me that this society gets it so backwards because we don't value kindness and compassion for those who are struggling. We don't value creativity. We don't value people.
And join my voice to all those who denounce the serious humanitarian abuses in Gaza, where innocent people are dying of hunger and falling victim to bombs, suffocating in their enclave.
You're witnessing a genocide, okay? Anyways, Israel struck a church in Gaza, the only Catholic church in Gaza, and they murdered 3 people and they injured a priest. By the way, if you're
No more money to kill babies. I want this Congress to know that I voted against sending any additional monies to Israel for munitions. I voted against it. And if this genocide is going to continue.
What are we going to say to the Palestinian Christians that we helped to murder through our tax dollars? What are these Schofield Zionist preachers going to say when they got up in front?
We know that at least 80 children have died of starvation and malnutrition, 4 in a single day this week.
I don't know how I can respond. So much gaslighting from the very beginning. John has been on the ground in Gaza, yeah, as an embed. I love it when John and Douglas Murray and these people say, oh, we've been on the ground in Gaza. Yeah, as guests of the Israeli
Evangelical Christians may not know the point is, don't listen to these evangelical pacifists who would tell us that it's anti-Christian to be armed. It's anti-Christian to carry a hand. And these days and times, in my opinion, anybody that's not carrying is not thinking straight. Here were two of the disciples that for 3.5 years were carrying their swords. Jesus saw them carrying their swords. He didn't do one thing to stop them from carrying. If you're still supporting Israel in the year 2025, there's something seriously wrong with you as a person. You do not have a normal, healthy sense of empathy.
What is happening now in Gaza does indeed constitute genocide, because population's been moved to a small territory. 70% of the rest of Gaza has been obliterated, making it uninhabitable.
There is no famine in Gaza. There is a famine of the truth, and Israel will not stop telling it. 87 million meals, 1.8.
What was the most alarming thing about the debate? I mean, the most alarming thing about the debate is these people exist. Not just that they exist, they've always existed in the US. Let's not be naive. But that they're willing to say.
All the Holocaust in history started with moving populations and concentrating them in one concentration camp. Israel is doing it by the time we are talking now. We want Gaza to become unlivable in order that the Palestinians will leave Gaza. Stop thinking that there is no goal. The goal is crystal clear now. To put them in concentration camps in which they will be longing to the days that they were starving in the Muass and in other places, because life there will be much more of the hell. And then, according to the plan, and they said it, whoever will want to leave will be able to leave to other countries. So we are watching, by the time we are talking now, a horrible plan, a satanic plan of ethnic cleansing of Gaza. And the world has to do something immediately to stop it before it will be too late.